Alright, before I get started on my readings, I wanted to talk about some stuff. Okay, specifically in spell casting, okay? Um, so, yes, you can manifest pretty much whatever you want. That is divinely yours, right? If your manifestations start infringing on the will of another person, then you're doing black magic and that shit's gonna come back on you, right? Karmically, that will come back on you. And you will have a lot of suffering, because you're doing black magic, bro. You're trying to fuck with somebody else's will. And also, if your happiness is dependent on another person or a certain outcome or any external thing, then that's not real happiness. That just ain't real, okay? Real happiness comes from inside. It's what you constantly weave within you. It's your constant effort, right? And you know what? Happiness shouldn't even be the outcome, in my opinion, okay? Because happiness, just like every other feeling that we ever feel, is fleeting, right? It's fucking fleeting. You're not gonna feel happy eternally. And if you did, you would get so fucking bored of being happy, you would start creating drama for yourself. Because we have a negative bias as a human race. It's stupid, but we do. It's like then if things are going too well, you're like, I need some drama. I need something to spice this shit up, right? So the universe kind of does that for you, right? You can't always be 100%, and honestly, who wants to be happy constantly, right? There are way more important things to be feeling. There are other things that you could be feeling that are so fucking significant, to your growth, right? It's like my boss at the company party yesterday, he was talking to all of us, and he brought up this little analogy, and I have to share it because it was fucking gold. I love this. So he was saying, a lobster, they have like this nice hard shell to protect them and all that. But then when they grow inside the shell itself doesn't grow, right? And so they start feeling this like discomfort, and it hurts and it sucks, and they're like, ugh, I gotta get out of this, fuck, and then they get out of their shell, and then they go and they crawl under a rock, right? Just like me. And then they crawl under a rock to protect themselves, right? And they kind of hibernate in there. And then while their new shell kind of like grows and forms, and so that when they come out, they're like, ooh, I can move, I can do things, I don't feel like shitty anymore, this is great. They don't need an external thing, okay? For one, that's a big part of this, is they don't need an external thing. And also, their suffering, their pain, their disappointment in that last shell, all that results in growth, right? All of that results in their expansion, right? So sometimes we have to go through this, the disappointment, the hurt, the whatever, and a lot of it is our own damn fault. It's because we get these ideas in our head that if I just had this, I'd be happy. If I could just have this outcome, it would be great. If I had this job, if I had this girl, if I had this guy, if I had, whatever. What the fuck is all that? Except external, right? You're projecting your happiness into some external fucking thing. And you know what? Who's to say that you even have earned that? Right? Who's to say that that guy or that girl is even your divine partner, right? Because if you start casting spells on them, trying to get them, trying to woo them into your world, right? What you could be doing inadvertently is creating a karmic relationship that's very toxic, because it's kind of built on this spiritual kidnapping, and then it could result in some really bad things, really negative fucking outcomes, because you're taking somebody off of their own divine path to feed your desire, right? And I'm sorry, but desire has nothing to do with divinity. On the contrary, actually, releasing desire is divinity. And so, like, when we project this need for fulfillment into something or somebody else, we're fucking ourselves, because we're setting ourselves back, then we're creating our own suffering, when really things aren't bad, are they? Right? You have a job to go to, well, hopefully, I mean, they could be bad in that sense that, you don't have a job, you don't have a home, you don't have, but if, say you have those things, right? Say you have a normal job, say you have your needs taken care of, and you're still sitting there and you're like, but I'm suffering because I don't have this, and I don't have that, and I don't have this, and I don't have that. And I would like to remind you, in the Lord's Prayer, it says, give us this day our daily bread. It doesn't say, give me every goddamn thing I want. Okay? Okay. And so, give us this day our daily bread means, give me what I need to survive today so that I can hopefully, possibly, make it to the next one. Please, God, if that's your will, thy will be done. So it's kind of like when we start trying to micromanage God and the universe and giving us what we want and not taking into consideration our actual divine plan here, our actual divine work, which I guarantee you, most of the time, your divine work has nothing to do with getting your rocks off. Your divine work has to do with working with others, right? Light working. It's not so self-centered. Okay? And if you do get that, if you do get your divine partner, and you do get your happily ever after, it's because you earned it through your hard work, right? It's not like you get to wake up one day and say, oh, I felt great today, I'm totally enlightened, God, give me everything I want. That's not how it works. You put in the work, you reap some rewards, put in more work, you get some punishment because you expected too damn much, and then you put in more work, and then you get some rewards. It's like, God lets you know when you're on your path by how you feel. And when you're doing right, you feel right. When you start projecting onto others your feelings or whatever, then that's when you start feeling like shit, and you're like, oh, nothing's right, da 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 da. And it's like, Darrow, all you need are your basic needs fulfilled, right? And that's kind of like what Jesus was saying, and that's kind of why he's a great living example for all of us, because he relinquished the desire for a partner, the desire for wealth, the desire to look wealthy, to the desire for even stability, the desire for even a home, he relinquished all desire. And that was, I'm not saying, drop all your shit and run away and go, I'm not saying that. That was his path. You've got your own damn path. Quit trying to relive somebody else's path, right? Create your own. Live your own goddamn name, I hate that when, every fucking other white guy I know is telling me, I'm Jesus reincarnated, and I'm like, dude, be you, okay? Be you reincarnated. Be you. Give yourself a name now. Be the person that they write books about now. Don't be so hell-bent on being some past person, right? And I know, I have a Cleopatra complex. It is hard as fuck for me to not be like, I'm Cleopatra. When I'm Natalie, okay? And that's the name that I'm living up to now. That is the path I'm going on right fucking now. Doesn't matter if I was, or who I was in the past lives. It doesn't matter. Because That's not me today, right? And part of all of this is dropping the past, right? Including past lives, including past life karma, including all that fucking, any of that bullshit. Let's just drop all that, okay? Sorry. Obviously, when I go 2 days without talking to you guys, I end up with a whole shitload of things to talk about. But, like, yeah, dude, it's like we can't progress by just wanting, right? By just, that's the devil. That's ego, right? I always say the ego is the devil, right? And I strongly believe that. It's that little thing in your ear saying, I deserve this. I should have this. And it's like, why? Real love is not possession, and real, real growth is about appreciation, not just snatching things up for your damn self, That's selfish. It's selfish. We kind of need to understand our path here, our divine purpose, is intrinsically linked to your natural talents. I can talk. As you can see. Not well. I do a lot of hims and haws and ums and whatever. And I've learned, and I went and I did public speaking in college, and believe me, they were like, you need to stop saying all the damn time. I'm like, I know. But also that's part of me. That's part of my thinking process. I'm constantly like, and sometimes I just, so whatever. I also cuss a lot, right? For being very spiritual, like that can be confusing for some people. But I also believe that God speaks my language, and there's no such thing as bad words, but bad context. Whole different subject for a whole different day. Yeah, basically, just throw away all that need for external shit, and then you'll be there. As long as you feel like you need to gain something for your personal happiness, as long as you feel like you need to obtain something very so specific, because what if God's like, what if you're like, for example, say you're some girl and you're like hung up on one guy in particular, and God's like, your twin flame is over here. And you're like, but I need this one. He's shiny. He's cool. He's whatever. And the universe is like, your twin flame is over here. And you're so hung up on the shiny, pretty thing, or shiny, handsome thing, whatever. Guys can be pretty. I don't give a fuck. So, yeah, you're so hung up on this, that, like, you don't see what is in your divine plan, right? In your itinerary. You're so hung up on one certain idea, on one certain image, that you can't see that there's a whole other path being laid out for you right now, and maybe patience too. Patience is a big one, because so many people are like, I'm gonna get this, like, next week. They're so hell-bent on specific time frames too, and it's like, God doesn't work like that. We call it divine timing for a reason. It's much like native time, where everyone's like, why are you showing up late? And we're like, oh, I'm not late. You're just early. What are you doing? You're just asking for shit early. I'm just on time, right? That's why I know God has a Native American soul. I'll tell you what. Sorry. Gotta adjust my face. But yeah. Yeah, I just feel like, like, what is time anyway, And what is this need to get anything? Why aren't you fucking happy for all that you already have, And maybe when you start having actual gratitude for all that you already have, then more blessings come in, right? But you become your own damn blessing blocker when you get hung up on the, I need this, I need that, I want this, I want that. It's like a little fucking kid in the store, okay? I have 2 kids. I'll tell you what, I hate shopping with them. I love them with my entire soul. I would die for my children. I do not want to go into a store with them. Okay? Like every damn aisle. Mom, I need this. I need that. I need this. I need that. That's what God feels like with you. Okay? When y'all are just sitting there, I want. God's like, did you do your damn chores? Did you wash the dishes? Did you make your bed this morning? Like, are you consistent about that? Like, then maybe come to me and start asking. And you know what? Even at that, be content if my answer is no. You know? And are my kids gonna stop loving me? Are they gonna stop, are they gonna be so disappointed that they're like, fuck everything, fuck the whole world? No. Because they're kids, and they're gonna get distracted with the next best thing. And then they'll be moving onwards and upwards and whatever. My son asked me for a $250 fucking clone trooper helmet, okay? And I'm sorry, but during Christmas season, that's crazy. I cannot afford that. Well, even if I could, then that would be taking from everybody else that I could be helping, right? And I feel like maybe we should look at God like a mother, too. In the aspect that you can't just get all that you want all at once, And sometimes you don't get what you want. Do you stop loving your mama because she can't provide that for you because she doesn't infringe on the free will of others? Come on. Come on. God is your mother, okay? Start treating her like a mom, okay? God is also your father. And start treating him like a dad. I feel like God is the balance between the divine feminine and the masculine, right? It is the balance. When we maintain that balance within ourselves, we become like God. I'm not saying we are God, right? Well, we are God. We are all aspects of God, right? But we become more like God, right? And that's the ascension process. When we transcend our old self and we ascend into higher states of consciousness, higher states of higher mindsets, right? We start thinking about what's actually important here. God is working his ass off, they's ass off, for all of us, right? For all of us. But that spoiled brat in the corner that ain't doing their chores, that's just sitting there crying to get what they want, do you think God's gonna be like, yeah, here you go, here's some blessings, here's this, okay? God doesn't spoil like that. Spoil the rod, spare the child, or spoil the child, spare the, I don't know. My stepdad used to beat me to that saying. but and I don't believe in beating your children. Do not hit your fucking kids. I'll hit you. Okay? But one thing I will say is, we need to discipline ourselves. When we discipline ourselves, like if my kids were to start just doing their fucking chores, just without me asking, if they just start going and brushing their teeth every morning without me asking, if they would just take their showers without me asking, if they just took initiative to do the things that are expected of them, that they know are expected of them, but they always wait for me to come in and be like, bro, come on. Get your ass in that bathroom right now. Go brush your damn teeth, they always wait. And so it's like, if we take initiative on our own self-discipline, then God's like, oh, you get it. You're doing it. You're doing the fucking I didn't have to whoop your ass. I didn't have to punish you. I didn't have to do any of that shit, then God's like, you know what? Here's a blessing. Here's a blessing. Here's a blessing, You listen to God and shit just kind of happens. But you shouldn't do it for the fucking prize at the end of the day. You should be doing this for you, because this is something that's going to better you, This is something that's going to heighten your potential. This is something that's going to help you to grow. Honestly, the biggest problem is that, most people are like little fucking kids with God, you know? Mom, I washed the dishes one day. Do I get my allowance? Well, are you consistent? Do you do this every day? Have you done it for a year? You know, like, have you at least done it for a week? I need to see consistency before I start dropping bills on you. You know, I need to see that you're actually in that mindset, that you're actually developing that, because I'm not just going to throw, you know, an allowance at you because you did your chores one time, you know? I'll give you 50 cents. You know, like, there you go. Build it up in your piggy bank. If you want to start being consistent, then we can start talking about a real allowance here. You know, it's like you don't get to go to work and work for a day and be like, do I get a promotion yet? Can I get a raise? You know, like, humans, you little babies. You're getting there. We'll figure this out together. But you know, this is something that, like, it just baffles me. I see it so much. And you know what? I've been guilty of it. Of just this constant, like, I want this, I want that. You know, and like, or where I'm like, God, if I don't have that man, I'm gonna lose my damn mind. And then God's like, okay, have fun losing your mind. Like, you know, and it's like, and I did, and it was great. But, you know, it's like, sometimes we just have to learn, like, yes, we are still loved by the universe. We're still part of all this, but we don't just get every single damn thing we want just because we want it. We have to work for it. We have to be consistent about it. It has to be more than just like a week's worth of, oh, I put in the work. It has to be like, I'm constantly, during the hardest times, when I'm feeling the lowest, I am still putting in the work, you know? That's what all of this is about, is teaching us how to grow the fuck up spiritually, you know, because we're just little fucking apes, just living on this childlike mindset. And how fair is that to the whole universe? How fair is that, you know, to live in this constant expectation of more, and this constant desire for more? And you know what? It's partly to do with capitalism. Always telling us, you get more, you get more. You know what? What if we don't? What if we don't get more? Are you going to start hating on life again? Are you going to start being petty again? Are you going to start your black magic again because you're just not getting what you want when you want it? Like, this is about the actual work, right? Many are called, few are chosen. You know, it takes an important kind of person to kind of to step out of that cycle that they've created for themselves, right? It takes an important kind of person to not just hear the message, but to heed it. You know, it's like I've watched people literally be told one day, guys, stop blaming each other. You know, like, if you hold yourself accountable for all the things right and wrong in your life, then, you know, like, shit's fine. And then literally, like, 2 hours later, I hear somebody who sat there listening to the same damn thing I did saying, I blame so-and-so. I blame so-and-so. I'm like, did you not learn? You know, and it's not like, there's no hostility, there's no judgment there. It's just, it's so hard to break these patterns, right? And oftentimes when we feel like we've made it spiritually, that's when we're the furthest away from being spiritually aware. Like, you know, that's ego telling us, oh, you already did it, you're good, you don't need to keep going, just stay right here, you're good. You know, our ego's always like, you don't need to keep putting in more work. What are you doing? You already put in some work. Remember, you did the dishes like last week. What are you doing? You know, the ego does that. And then it really takes courage to be like, you know what, even if I ain't getting all that I want, I'm still putting in the work because this is important to me. This is what matters for me in everything. You know, even if there's no outcome, even if there's nothing to expect, even if there's just whatever, because it's good for me, you know, like you have to focus on that. And you know what? Even when God doesn't give me all that I want, even when I don't get that candy bar at the store, guess what? I still love God. I still do. With my entire being, I still wake up every day and the first thought is, God, I'm so fucking grateful for you, God. Like, you know, as much as, like, you know, people are like, you know, be grateful for other things, it's like I am genuinely grateful for the source of all creation, you know. I pray for angels, okay? And people are like, why do angels need prayer? And it's like, dude, they have to put up with your ass, okay? They're out here trying to wake you up. Like, I have to pray for your damn angels right now. You know, it's like, you just, when you really see God and the angels as aspects of your own spiritual family, like, really, then it hits different, you know? It really fucking does. As above, so below. The dynamics of your physical family are not so different from the dynamics of your spiritual family. But anyway, I'm done with my rant. I'm gonna get on with these readings. I had to give you a whole earful. I love you all. Namaste. And I hope that this helps in some aspect. And I'm sorry if it was too hard. Have a good day.